exposure here. I really don't know how to explain it. It just,
Glad to see you guys in here. I like that little jingle. And who said that freaking YouTube can't be cute? Eh. Tim, I got your letter out finally. I'm so sorry it took so late or took so long. Durr. Now I popped the 20 in there for you for all the shipping. So, what did I find today good on here? I'm gonna have probably drop call in and do him as a call in tonight. I don't know, guys. What do you want? Who's got good info? Oh, Tim, don't worry about it. It's all good. Injun, did you believe that? I don't think Aaron got quite what I was saying. Daria, there you are. Where the heck's your wrench? What the heck? I don't really have any controls here. What's going on? There you are. I don't know why nothing's working in these controls. I'm now going to be questioned by the police over his hoax. Yeah, right? I guess that guy doesn't know science. bleach, bleach will freeze at that temperature. Yeah, Daria, so cool. Injun, I don't know what's going on with my my controls here. So any crap comes in, whack it. Tim, there's been like this little chat room train wreck going around where people are just going after each other, and we're not going to have it here because I invited like 5 people last week. And I mean, there's a group of us that kind of, we all hang out together. So it's just been getting really crazy. And I was really embarrassed last week. Like 5 new people left. So even Aaron's sister, she's it was just ugly. It's like a bad train wreck. You just can't look away. One of those deals. Oh, there it's please. I had a girl actually chase me all over the internet, and then finally someone caught on to it because I didn't say anything to her, not in a different chat. Went on for over 6 hours. It was like a slap a hoe uh, marathon. I was just like, I didn't care. I didn't care. So yeah, so one of my friends was like, "Oh, I got to de-wrench you for 24 hours." It's no big deal, but still, it's got to stop. So it's not going to go on here. Hi, Karen. How you doing? Oh, Tim, it was horrible, and it's been something that's been going on for like 2 months, and finally, I mean, I'd seen somebody very very close to me get hurt, and he did something really good for a lot of people, and then it got thrown in his face, and that was it. I was like, no, ain't happening. So, and then I went in and I apologized. I did the right thing, and you know showed I was the better person anyway, because it was really wrong. But I mean, yeah, stuff happens. It's all good. So I got oh, here's this let me see if I can pull this up. No, no, I didn't really listen to the whole thing.
TrueStage is a fast and easy way to get the life
Let me
insurance you
see.
need to help protect your family after you.
I found this guy the other week. His name's JB Gunner. Yeah, I saw that. Is that tonight, Daria? Never heard of a snow full moon. Then they turned the blue wolf moon into, wait a minute, the the red lunar moon whatever into a red wolf moon or some crap. It's like they just want to add everything. We got to be different. It's got to be special. There, it's weird. I don't know what's going on. And you're supposed to have a wrench. Karen's supposed to have a wrench, and I don't know why the controls are not working. I don't know. Um, I can't really pull up anything. I don't know why. Don't know. Yeah, nothing over here is working for me. I don't know why. Yeah, I usually reboot before every stream, so I'm trying to think. Let's find something really cool. Let me get back to my home channel here. Let's see what we got. JB Gunner, though, oh my God, that man is so flippin' hysterical. He did something on welfare queens and stuff like that. Oh crap! Got Fox breaking news. We had a military tribunal update. Hold on, guys. I'm gonna look here for a minute. Let's see what we can pull up. Keep changing the format on this. Oh, you guys want to listen to the X22 report? Hi, Dean. How are you? JB, he he was in the he was left in the drops room. I don't know who opened up the room last night. He just got up off his chair, went and laid down. I was like, where'd he go? Hello? So I thought he was going to stream live or something. Because he was like, he says, well, tell the audience. And I'm like, you're doing a live? See, I looked, unless he had some other different channel or something, under his own channel, he wasn't live. So, it was funny. All right, let's pull up some, I'll give the link like I always do. Y'all know how I do this crap, the way I roll. Oh, and you know what? I think, because I'm like real low tech, right? I do everything low tech, so it's more like a radio show. And so Grand Supreme, he had a really cool little channel going on. He did a lot about the migration, the caravans. He played the State of the Union address, and he got suspended for 90 days. They already took his monetization away. I think once you get to like a certain level, when you're starting to make some money and this and that, you get on the it's got to be a certain level, because it's like bam, then they really start screwing with you. First they take your money away, then they suspend you. So he's suspended for 90 days, and I'm like, well, I did the State of Union address. What's up with this? But I did it like a radio. So I guess maybe they didn't catch it or something. I don't know. So, oh, no, you don't want to go out, do ya? Girlfriend, hold on a second. I'll put the X22 on. The doggy's got to go out. She's coming in. She's like, Mama. Make sure y'all can hear this pretty good.
Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1793B, and today's date is February 17th, 2019, and the title of the episode is Deep State Outmaneuvered Again, Truth Overshadows Propaganda. Now, before we get started, did you ever want to keep track of your personal belongings? Well, now you can with Track It Home's T2 GPS Tracker. It is also equipped with a listen-in feature that allows you to listen to activities going on around the device. This device is great to keep tabs on what happened with the wall and everything else. We also see the truth is now coming out, and it's overshadowing the propaganda of the mainstream media. And we'll be talking about all of that in a little bit. But here's a story about Jussie Smollett, and I'm sure a lot of people heard of this already, that's been going on, where he claimed that two white Trump supporters violently attacked him at 2 a.m. in the streets of Chicago when he was walking home from a Subway with a sandwich in his hand. Smollett told the police the attackers were white, hurled homophobic and racial slurs at him while they beat him, poured bleach on him, then put a noose around his neck. Strangely, Mr. Smollett still had the rope around his neck when the police arrived to his apartment to take a report on the attack, which is kind of crazy. Why wouldn't you remove it? Instead, he left it there. Why did he leave it there? Because it looks a lot better when you're faking something. Now, what's very interesting, his whole entire story is falling apart. And it looks like it really is two Nigerian brothers that agreed to help him pull off this hoax. Now, the Chicago police, they've been investigating this, and Fox 32 reporter Rafer Weigel said that the Chicago police sources confirmed detectives were able to show that the Nigerian brothers, they were the persons of interest, and the police questioned them. They bought the rope found around Jussie Smollett's neck at an Ace Hardware store, and the whole thing was planned out. So it looks like this whole thing is turning out to be a hoax. It was staged. And we're seeing, according to reports, police released the Nigerian brothers based on new evidence in the case. And these two individuals, they also appeared as extras on the show Empire. This is the show that he is in. And it looks like they might have flipped on him. And now he's trying to figure a way out of this. And I believe that once the truth starts to really pour out, he's going to be in quite a bit of trouble.
My roll brush.
Now, the Chicago police, they're really investigating this. They're not part of the entire fake story. They're really looking into this, and they're finding out, it hasn't gone down the way he said it did. And what's very interesting is Donald Trump Jr. tweeted out the following. And you really have to think about this and think logically. He said, "Shocked. I really thought MAGA folks who are all over downtown Chicago were waiting with a rope, bottle of bleach to ambush a rich guy at 2 a.m. in -4 degrees because those are conditions where all people go out for a Subway rather than order Seamless." Seems so real. And you can see at this point that everyone is looking at this going, yeah, this whole thing was a complete and utter setup. But the mainstream media, they went along with the story. They repeated it over and over and over to make everyone else believe it. Now it's falling apart without investigating any of it. They just went ahead and said, yes, we believe you, without really looking into proof. And of course, they're trying to turn everything around and say that MAGA supporters, they're dangerous. Well, now it's turning out that these people are liars, and they'll do anything to blame anything on Trump. We see Mueller is in panic because McCain came out and he admitted that the deep state was trying to plan a coup d'etat against Trump. And of course, he's trying to walk this back and trying to figure out a way to get out of this.
We're winning.
But the truth is already out there. So McCabe, James Comey, Rod Rosenstein, and the top officials of the Department of Justice were actively strategizing how to remove the duly elected president of the United States. In a third world banana republic, you know what this is called? A coup d'etat. And Q has been telling us that treason is punishable by death. And this is why the Senate was pushing a bill to reverse or make lynching illegal. Now, in response to this news, the Mueller team released a debunked smear on Roger Stone. They wanted to change the story. They wanted to change the narrative. And the Mueller deep state hacks released documents on Friday they claim that show that Roger Stone was communicating with WikiLeaks. Julian Assange and WikiLeaks, they denied all collusion with Roger Stone, Donald Trump Jr., Jerome Corsi, Michael Flynn, and any other Trump official during the 2016 election. And late last night, Roger Stone responded saying the Friday report was a recycled report on an innocuous Twitter direct message that were already fully disclosed to House investigators. And then the judge came in and put a gag order on Roger Stone. So they are panicking right now. Schiff is panicking.
Shifty Schiff.
He's signaling right now that the Mueller findings won't be enough. Now, we know that NBC came out and they were projecting into the future saying that the Mueller report is going to show nothing. Schiff is projecting out there saying that the Mueller report is going to show nothing and that they're going to have to take on the investigations themselves. Of course, we know why they're doing it. It's their insurance policy. They know there's nothing here. What they're really afraid of is that the truth is going to take them down. And the
Hey,
truth
Club
is
Kid.
coming out,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
getting closer and closer to
He
home.
does a good
And Schiff
show.
came out and said, we're
Hey,
going to have
Gus.
to do our own investigation.
Did you
And
get
we
enough
are.
yet?
We're certainly be very interested to learn what Bob Mueller finds. We may have to fight to get that information. And he's blaming this on the new Attorney General because they feel that they're not going to give them all the information.
To his show yet
Well, no.
tonight, so
The report's going to be made transparent to show that nothing ever happened. He's trying to set up a scenario of where they're going to say,
Hi,
oh, we
Tanya.
didn't get
Hi,
everything, that's
Carpenter.
why we have to have this investigation.
It's
They're trying to figure a
X-22
way
report.
out of all this to protect themselves. Remember, Schiff met with Glenn Simpson.
Gus, what
And
was for dinner?
Everyone's starting to talk about this. What was he doing there? What did they talk about? Actually, Maria Bartiromo tweeted out the following. Happening now. We now find that Adam Schiff met was Glenn Simpson last year. Why did he fight telling us who paid for the dossier? He should hold himself to the same standard. He should recuse himself from Russia probe, just like everyone else that had to recuse themselves. He's involved. He should be recusing himself, but he won't because he needs to protect himself. Now, we know that Nikki Haley is retiring as UN ambassador. She's a deep state operative. And Trump decided to pick Heather Nauert as the new UN ambassador. But it looks like Heather is having second thoughts right now. At least that's what they're claiming. Saying that the past 2 months have been grueling for my family, and therefore it is in the best interest of my family that I withdraw my name from consideration.
Dinah.
Now, I wonder if something's happening where the deep state is putting pressure on her, and she's nervous and afraid, and decided that, something, this is not for me. But the State Department confirmed another nominee would be announced very, very soon. So we'll see how that all plays out. Out in France and many other parts in Europe, we see the yellow vests. They are continually protesting right now. This is the 14th week, and this is happening all over the place. Now, Macron's government, they have arrested 8,400 yellow vest protesters. You think they're trying to quiet the situation down? But there's always a problem with this. The more you arrest, the more people that come out. And you can't win against this. But this is what the deep state likes to do. They like to silence everyone. Now, out in Haiti, we see Haiti continues to be gripped by civil unrest and mass protests demanding that the president step down over charges of corruption and rampant inflation under his watch. Now, I'm wondering if this has to do with Q and team, with their investigations, with what has been going on in Haiti with the Clintons. And if we go back in time to post 1832, this is August 10th, 2018, remember, Q has been posting about Haiti, about Hillary Clinton, even showing videos of Donald Trump during a dinner speaking about Hillary and Haiti and the children. And you can see Hillary's face. She's not too thrilled with what Trump is saying. But in this post, Q says the following. Reed drops R.E. Haiti. At some point, it will not be safe for them to walk down the street. Pure evil. The world is watching. And if we move to post 1884, this is where Q, back in August 15th, gave us a list of all the different countries where access has been closed. And one of them has been Haiti. So it looks like something might be happening in Haiti right now. And this might have to do with Clinton, with the operation down there, with the investigations, because we can see that everything is starting to ramp up right now. We see out in Afghanistan, we see about 1,000 troops from Afghanistan. They're going to be pulled out of Afghanistan. Now, they're saying that this is an efficiency effort. They're saying this is part of removing some of the troops. Not a drawdown, but we're going to be starting to remove some of these troops. And I think this is wordplay. So the deep state and all these individuals, look at this and say, okay, what's going on here? But I think what they're doing is they're actually starting to pull troops out of Afghanistan.
I bet she did.
And we're going to see this pick up over time. We see Syria is
Club.
accusing U.S. forces where they brought in
There's that
helicopters
reporter,
and they
too,
picked up these
when
large
she went to
boxes,
Bohemian
and they're
Grove.
saying that they are full with
She turned
gold.
up
This
dead.
is all the gold that the Islamic State
Okay,
terrorists
Carpenter.
stole from
I can
different
only
areas
look back here,
within
so
Syria. Now, is this the deep state
Kev quit.
taking the gold? It might be. Because remember, the Islamic State inside of Syria, they were living off of the stolen oil. They were at some point
Oh,
where
cool,
they said they're
thanks,
going to go to a gold standard in Syria.
Oh, yeah.
They were collecting
Yeah.
old
It was a
artifacts,
woman reporter
art,
club.
gold. They were just stealing from the country. This was the deep state, and I wouldn't be surprised because I remember in Ukraine, once the coup d'etat happened in there and they had regime change, all of a sudden these planes that were, dark in color flew in the middle of the night and took gigantic boxes, and many people suspected that it was Ukraine's gold. And then later on, we came to find out that they were missing gold. I think the same thing is happening in Syria, where the deep state is capturing their gold and they're stealing it from the country. Now, this might be going off to Israel, this might be going off to the coalition forces,
So,
but
that helps
again,
any.
they're taking the spoils from Syria. Remember, the deep state, they always try to push their goal, and they never quit. They just regroup and try again. And this is why Trump is going after the source of the problem. You need to go after the source because you got to make sure that they have no funds to operate. Without funds, they can't do anything. And think about how he's doing this. In Afghanistan, shutting down the poppy fields. In Syria, oil convoys wiped out. Using the petrodollar in all these Middle Eastern countries, that's coming to an end. Soon he'll have Venezuela taken care of. The border in the United States with all the human trafficking, the drugs, and everything else coming over the border, that's going to be cut off. Piece by piece, he's cutting off the funding of the deep state. What's next? Well, the main source, the central bank. But you have to understand, he needs to do one piece at a time, and he needs to make sure that these are all in place before he goes after the big kahuna, which is the central bank. Let's get into some of Q's post. This is post 2737. Q put up a link to Fox News, and this article says, DHS official board security bill does not contain amnesty poison pills. And if you read down part of this article, it says, major alleged poison pill that may be misunderstood is a clause requiring the federal government to confer and seek to reach mutual agreements with local governments before building any wall. The Center for Immigration Studies, which favors lower immigration levels, tweeted that the spending bill would give local governments in the Rio Grande, all of which are heavily Democratic, the ability to veto the fence. If those blue municipalities don't agree with DHS, the fence can't get built. But the DHS official told Fox News on background that the exact language in the budget, confer and seek to reach mutual agreement, nowhere requires a federal government to actually reach an agreement before building fences. Rather, it just requires DHS to consult with local governments, something DHS already generally does today. So there's no problem with this. And then Q says, be careful who you follow. Q, because many people are out there, they're giving out wrong information, trying to use fear to scare people that Trump was taken. But we're going to show how actually Trump outmaneuvered the deep state in all of this. Post 2738, Q put up a picture of U.S. Army Corps of Engineer, Red Castle, Green Castle. Under this gave us a Twitter link to Scavino45, and the tweet says the following. After declaring a national emergency, President @Real Donald Trump is briefed by the U.S. Army Chief of Engineers, Commanding General Todd D. Semonite, on the status to date of the border wall and all future construction to begin along the southern border. The pic shows the Army Chief of Engineers working with Trump. Q says the following. Army Chief of Engineers, all future construction. How long have Annans known?
Reddit.
Fake news attacking us daily. These are predictable, stupid, nothing to see here. Q. And Annans knew this all along, all the way going, I think it's all the way back to March when we first found out, when this was first deciphered. Post
That gives a whole
2739,
list of,
Q put up a Twitter link to Carpe Duncum, and this is a video showing how Trump battles the fake news media. Now, the original video was taken down. Trump retweeted Carpe Duncum's video, and there were complaints because REM's song Everybody Hurts was used in the video, and they said it was copyright violation. So Carpe Duncum created this new one, and the other video was completely taken down by Twitter. And Q went on to say, on the daily Q, where Trump is continually winning against the fake news. Post 2740, and Annan put up a tweet by Devin Nunes, and it says, didn't the Russians meet with Dem Clinton operatives before and after the meeting? And below this, it says, new evidence refutes Adam Schiff's theory about Trump's tower meeting. Cool. Don Jr.'s mysterious phone calls were not with his father. And we know this was with a race car driver and another friend. So this brings us to post 2043, where Q is talking about Loretta Lynch and what she did to help create a Russian collusion story. And Q says the following, you have more than you know. Why did Loretta Lynch, Attorney General of the United States, and that's in all caps, bold, in brackets, kill brackets, grant special entry to Natalia Veselnitskaya, Don Jr. set-up meeting? So let's go back in time. This is from The Hill. Department of Justice let Russian lawyer into U.S. before she met with Trump team. The Russian lawyer who penetrated Donald Trump's inner circle was initially cleared into the United States by the Justice Department under extraordinary circumstances.
Okay,
this revelation means it was the Obama Justice Department that enabled the newest and most intriguing figure in the Russian Trump investigation to enter the country without a visa, called immigration parole.
God bless, girl.
Why was Natalia barred from entering prior to? This is what Q is asking. Well, Natalia applied for a visa to represent her client back in October 2015. This is way before the presidential election and everything else. Her client was Denis Katsiev, the owner of Previzon Holdings. This company was being sued by U.S. government. The visa was denied for Natalia. However, she wasn't admitted into the U.S. until June 2016 because of her role in the Previzon case. In fact, when U.S. Attorney Preet Bharara of Manhattan specifically refused Natalia's request that the Justice Department authorize her trip via a mechanism known as immigration parole, which allows the Attorney General to temporarily suspend immigration requirements on a case-by-case basis. So this Russian lawyer, Natalia, she was denied a visa 2 or 3 times. Now, this is coming out of Reuters. Bharara's office has recommended immigration paroles for Natalia on 3 occasions when her client, Katsiev, was being deposed in the U.S. in the Previzon case. But in March 2016, Bharara's office said no in a letter to Previzon's U.S. lawyers. Prosecutors said such paroles aren't appropriate for foreign lawyers asking to help U.S. counsel prepare for appellate arguments or to attend appellate proceedings, since neither Katsiev nor Natalia are required to appear as witnesses in person at this stage of proceedings. We do not believe that the immigration parole is appropriate because she didn't have to appear as a witness, so there was no reason to let her into the country. She was not needed.
These are cool. They're little
so
child
after she was denied many times and she wasn't required to appear as a witness in person, why did Loretta Lynch allow her in? Q says if you have no real evidence of Russian collusion, you must attempt to manufacture it. So Lynch allowed Natalia to enter the U.S. The stage was set, the meeting place, time was coordinated, the tower was bugged, all to set up Don Jr. at Trump Tower meeting. As Q says, if there's no Russian collusion, what do you need to do? You need to manufacture one. The Pfizer warrants were all used to spy on the Trump administration or those associated with the Trump organization and not foreign individuals. 5 Eyes were also used during this. So all these Pfizer warrants and everything that Obama and his administration set up, it wasn't to spy on the foreign individuals. They used them as the excuse to spy on the Trump Organization. And this is why they unmasked all these individuals, to catch these individuals in some type of Russian collusion scheme, to catch them in lies, and to set them up. Let's move on to post 2741.
Yeah, drop I wish.
Q puts up a Twitter link, 333RD Revolution, and the tweet says the following: another one in Jersey City, New Jersey. Now, this is a pic of a bus stop with "Where we go one, we go all." And this message is sprayed on the bus stop. And Q says, "Bigger than you realize."
Ringer is off.
Well, what he means by this, or what Q means by this, is people are waking up to the truth every day. Q says the purpose of fake news attacks: slow growth, reach. Well, the purpose of the fake news is to stop
I'm surprised.
the spread
I my voicemail be
of
filled.
the truth.
I
to
never
stop
listen
this
to the
message.
voicemail.
Let's move on to post 2742. Q gives us a Twitter link
My friend
to
gave me that
Sensei
phone a couple
Common,
years back.
and this tweet
So I don't even
is
know what
the
it
letter
comes up
Q
as.
sprayed on the doors of the Scottish Parliament. And Q says, similar to below. So Q gives us a link to a YouTube. This is the movie V for Vendetta. Q is letting us know this is the same type of movement. The media puts out propaganda with the help of the clowns. V is spreading the truth for
I
all
sure hope, man.
to
We
see.
really are freaking
And it's
clearing
the
out
same
the
thing that
corruptness
Q
in
is
the
doing,
government.
referring us back to
That'd be
V for
sweet.
Vendetta or The Matrix. The same thing. Post
My hair
2743
keeps tickling me.
gave us a link to a Breitbart article. And it says, Nolte, networks refuse to cover Senate's no Russia collusion report.
No,
Q
that's
says,
what I don't see
how do
anything
you know
going
when the
on.
media is biased and pushing a knowingly false, fake narrative? Disinformation campaign designed to buy them more time by attempting to con enough people
Nord.
in order to remove the duly elected POTUS in order to save themselves from prosecution. Enemy of the people. Now, of course, the mainstream media is not going to come out and broadcast that the Senate found absolutely nothing. Yes, they did make mention of it, but they refused to cover the entire report. Instead, they're focusing on Adam Schiff. Now, when Mueller comes out with his report, they're going to push the focus away completely because they don't want anyone to know that there's been no Russian collusion whatsoever. Their entire story falls apart then. Post 2744, Q puts up, but the Lord is faithful, and he will strengthen you and protect you from the evil one. God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. And what Q is doing, he's quoting different parts of the Bible.
Dev, I'll be done
Post
in a couple hours from the
2745.
show.
Q gave us a link
chat
to
about,
Fox
I don't know,
News,
whatever.
and this is former top FBI lawyer. 2 Trump cabinet officials were ready to support the 25th Amendment effort. Information waterfall, buckle up, traitors is in brackets, all bold Q. And we went over this a little while ago.
Good, Dev.
There was a coordinated
Get my
effort
nap
for
in.
a coup d'etat. Rod Rosenstein involved, Comey's involved, McCabe's involved.
I was ready
All the
15
same
minutes
players
before
are
it went
all
live. I was like,
involved,
cool.
and this is treason. They are traitors. The Senate is pushing the bill to make lynching illegal. This is all being done on purpose because they know what's coming. What do you do with traitors? Well, it's the death penalty. And from this information that's coming out that they were planning a coup d'etat, well, this is treason. They're traitors.
Sorry, Dev.
And you can see where this is going. Post 2746. Q responds to the Annan who wrote the following. Former top FBI lawyer, 2 Trump cabinet officials were ready to support the 25th Amendment effort. Former top FBI lawyer James Baker, in closed-door testimony to Congress, detailed alleged discussion among senior officials at the Justice Department about invoking the 25th Amendment to remove President Trump from office, claiming he was told Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein said 2 Trump cabinet officials were ready to support such an effort. During his testimony, Baker acknowledged he was not directly involved in the May 2017 discussions, but testified over a 2-day period in October that McCabe and Page came to him contemporaneously after meeting with Rosenstein for input in the days after Comey was fired by the president. Q continued. They were removed. When was Page removed from the investigation? What month? July 20,
I don't think I got to
2017,
sleep till
early.
about 7 this
When was
morning.
Scaramucci hired? July 2017, late. RE, the Scaramucci model, 5 by 5. Those who left majority did not have a choice. All remained pro-MAGA and loyal to POTUS. Why are we attacked by pro-MAGA? Because they're not really pro-MAGA. They're put in there by the deep state. The establishment runs deep, and Q just confirmed that. Logical thinking, Q.
But I can do
Now,
it.
they were planning
Hold
on
let me
having
move
Carter Page prosecuted
this
by Mueller,
table a little closer.
but investigators were looking at the FISA applications. If Mueller proceeded, it would have brought the deep state methods into the public spotlight. And this is why they really didn't move ahead with all of this. And they started to back off because they started to realize what was happening here. Post 2747, Q gave us whitehouse.gov, and this is the briefing statement by President Trump on border security victory. And it reads as follows. I will never waver from my sacred duty to defend this nation and its people. We will get the job done. President Trump. Securing our border, President Donald Trump is following through on his promise to secure the border with legislation and executive action. The funding bill contains robust resources and additional provisions to secure the border and strengthen immigration enforcement. The bill provides $1.375 billion for approximately 55 miles of border barrier in highly dangerous drug smuggling areas in the Rio Grande Valley, where it is desperately needed. $415 million will go toward addressing the humanitarian crisis at the border by providing medical care, transportation, processing centers, and consumables. President Trump successfully rejected efforts by some to undercut immigration and customs enforcement's ability to uphold our laws and detain illegal aliens, including criminals. ICE funding supports nearly 5,000 additional beds to detain illegal aliens and keep criminals off our streets. Customs and Border Protection will receive funding for 600 additional officers. This bill will help keep deadly drugs out of our communities by increasing drug detection at ports of entry, including opioid detection staffing labs and equipment. Including funding in Homeland Security appropriations, the administration has so far identified up to $8.1 billion that will be available to build the border wall once a national emergency is declared, and additional funds have been reprogrammed, including about $601 million from the Treasury Forfeiture Fund, up to $2.5 billion under the Department of Defense funds transferred for support for counter-drug activities, up to $3.6 billion reallocated from Department of Defense military construction projects under the President's declaration of national emergency. Addressing the crisis at hand, President Trump is taking the necessary steps to address the crisis at our southern border and stop crime and drugs from flooding into our nation. Cartels, traffickers, and gangs like the MS-13 gang have taken advantage of our weak borders for their own gain. Immigration officers have made 266,000 arrests of criminal aliens in the last 2 fiscal years. This includes aliens charged or convictions of approximately 100,000 assaults, 30,000 sex crimes, and 4,000 killings. Tons of deadly drugs have flooded across the border and into our communities, taking countless Americans.
Ed, the problem I had last week is stuff fell into my chat room, which falls into every chat room. So basically, it's just like a bad train wreck. It keeps going and going. Speaking your mind is one thing, but when you start attacking people, I had 5 people I invited to the show, and they all left because of the in-house fighting. So I'm not going to have it. It's just, it ain't happening. So, you know, if people realize there's a consequence to their actions, you know, now if I see someone bullying, then that's what happens. Now, if I see 2 people fighting, now I'm not taking sides. They can come back next show or 24 hours. Club, it's just been something that's been going for 2 months. So in order to try to put it to sleep, I figure, you know what I mean? If you just ban them 24 hours. So, it has to stop somewhere. And the whole thing is, I end up, putting on a little teeny thing for people to gather, and it's just that, I want good content here. I want people to use their brains, share some information. I can open up a Gmail thing, one of those, and they can just sit there. They can freaking get a headset. They can tell each other go screw themselves, whatever, but not here. So, and I want to get Pat involved. Pat doing it too. Aaron's doing it. Don might be doing it. So in this way, yes, club. I think it's fair. And then it's a consequence thing. It's like a little kid, if you don't correct them. Just bought a new phone, been without but I'm back. Glad I missed it. So, you know what I mean? It's just there's too much division. I mean, we're already divided, left, right, everything else. So, yeah, last Monday, Dev, it got a little scary in here. So, no, Ed, I don't mind explaining, but I just want to kind of, you know what I mean? I want everybody to get along, really, and put this stuff away. So, and it just keeps going and going. So, a drop, you've seen it. You guys that were here on Monday, you've seen it. Even Aaron's sister left, which is so cool because we're going to go have lunch. Right, Daria. And I don't think you were here last week because I missed the 2 weeks when Kev was in the hospital. So it's just one of them things that, you couldn't help. And then I got sick with the bronchitis and I was like, ugh. So like last Sunday and Monday, it was really hard, because I got sick, he was sick, and I just curled up in the room and stayed here for about 3 days. So, Ed, I just kind of figured, that's I'm gonna try it because obviously we've been doing the same thing over and over and over, and we're not getting the right results. And it's just basically that we're all pretty much like-minded, and sometimes people don't get along with each other. The block feature works really well. So, and it's I get torn because I'm friends with a lot of people. Yeah, I forgot what I was trying to show out there. One morning, I took the laptop outside. It looked like a sunrise on the sunset. It was all orange and everything. I was like, what the heck? I see all kinds of weird stuff. This is like the Bermuda Triangle here. It'll rain 2 blocks in each direction, but not on my block. Or it'll be pouring and it'll just be a small drizzle here. I think we got a little bit of a Bermuda Triangle going on. It'll snow 20 miles up the road, but won't snow here. I'm like, come on, not the snow. Give me the snow. So, anyway, so that's the explanation. And somebody else did a video on it about the in-chat fighting and stuff like that. So, I guess it's going on all around. And, we got our little niche. And, sometimes people disagree, which is fine, but they can agree to disagree. Yeah, yeah. I think I did the one night and then not the next night, and it's just been crazy. I'm North Carolina. I'm right outside of Raleigh. So it's just actually there's a lot of farmland around here. competitors. Not really. Well, Claude, some things should be kept private, and when it spills over, once it spills over, it seems like everybody wants to justify. North Carolina, Daria. So, and once you justify and you say, I see your point or you're right, and it creates a division. So if you have two people that are kind of like arguing or something happened or three people, then like people take sides. Maybe the correct response would be, I understand, and that's it. But it's like everybody's looking for the same approval, and everybody's looking to be right. So not everybody can be right. There's a right and there's a wrong. So pretty much, you know what I mean? It's just one of them things. And this one thing has went on for like 2 months. 2 months. So it's done, and it's just creating so much division. And I don't want to see the division, because all in all, we all pretty much, we've all met in like channels and info wars and everything else. So, obviously we got the same brain. It's just that sometimes people just don't get along, or someone gets a little butt hurt. And, so I'm not going to say who's right, who's wrong. I'm not going there. I'm going to stay neutral and keep the crap out of my chat. So it's just that simple, because that's not why, I spend 6 hours a week, going live and gathering everybody up. That's right, Claude. And you know what? I acted like a total asshole. And then I was like, I apologize. I apologize to the room owners. But, and it's okay. It is okay to disagree. But when you get into like a love triangle, you know what I mean? Someone's always got to be playing the victim. And when you got 3 people or 2 people playing the victim, people get hurt. I get it. It hurts. We've all been through breakups. We've all been through everything. But most of us are older, and, it's like when you get another person in there that shouldn't be in there, then, it should be between a guy and a woman or whatever, and that's it. And it should never spill into a chat. It should never be made public. It's something between 2 people, and that should be it. So, Gramps' house. Yeah, Indian, I remember you being in there. Yeah, it does. And all it does is creates division. There's enough division. So, pretty much, it's just one of them things of not here, not on my time. And I'm going to try to squash it, because nothing else has worked. It just festers and festers. And so, I mean, I had a girl actually stalk me last night from room to room, and I was like, really? So we're just going to do it that way. And for whatever reason, it's going to be that way. My way or the highway. Hey, JB, how you doing? JB, you too. And was it you that did the show on that, about the in-house fighting? Well, one in particular, Claude. So, and the thing is, everybody gets hurt. It's a lose-lose situation. So, it should never be aired in public. Never. It's something, you know what I mean? Everything was private. And, the whole thing was private. And then when, boom, it was just there. We will, Gus. And, so it's just one of those things of, we got to figure out how to fix it. So obviously it's not going away. So got to try something different. JB, you know what happened? You just got up off your chair last night and you were gone. I guess you went and laid down. You didn't say I gotta lay down. I gotta get off of here. And then I thought you were live streaming it. Carpenter, I am. Here's the whole thing. Honestly, I don't give a flying fig about some of these people. I mean, some people I've learned they grew on me. But I'm not gonna let I'm not gonna let some people on the internet freaking ruin anything. So it's not gonna upset me. When I said I didn't give a flying fig, that they really didn't mean anything. You know what I mean? I never invested the time to talk to them on the phone or anything like that. So it was just one of them things, like no great loss. I just go on. It's not going to hurt my feelings. It's not a kitten stalker. Yeah, pretty much. Ned, you should have seen Aaron's this morning. That was like a 6-hour freaking Lollapalooza fest. But yeah, exactly, Gus. Yeah, I don't know where my kitty is. I don't know where either of them are. Yep, Jop, it is. It definitely is. And like I said, I don't really want to go and be huge. But what I want is some other people, because as long as we stay small enough, and like I'm not monetized, not going to be monetized, that's when they start going after you. Like after, it seems like they actually, hi Ben, it seems like when you get to a certain level, and then they start looking at your content, and that's when they start screwing with you. So I'm hoping other people will go live. And this is all like low tech. All you need is a camera, a microphone, a speaker, and that's it. And you just sit there and, I don't know, blow the stink off you, hose off, whatever you got to do. So, but if more people do little live things and we get like a little system going, then bam. So it's AIs are programmed. You know what I mean? They're looking for certain words and this and that. We're humans, and we can outthink them. It's a program. They're only programmed to do what they're programmed to do. That's it. Yeah, Ed. Well, don't pour salt in the wound. Them two, they'll figure it out. Club, you know what? We were supposed to go up to Wilmington, where the hurricane hit. What was it? I don't know, August. Hurricane Florence. We had floating pigs and floating, I don't know, dead chickens, dead turkeys, everything like that. So I'm going to take my camera and do some filming. And good. Ben, it's not, I think everybody's putting too much into the emergency declaration. However, it did come up that, the Dems are throwing it out there saying, oh, well, we can declare an emergency for climate control. And then some people are like, oh, they could do it for taking away guns and stuff like that. So we ain't going to have to worry about it. I hope Trump gets reelected and finishes what he did. I mean, it's going to take him 8 years because it's been hundreds of years of corruption, and it's just so big right now. It could drop, but, I mean, we just went through a national emergency. We've been through many national emergencies. Welcome back, Bruce. We've been through many national emergencies, so I mean, nothing's really happened before. And as far as all those states that are on the border, they can do state of emergencies. So, you know what I mean? So they don't have to do the whole United States. I mean, there's state of emergencies pulled in different states after storms. They got state of emergency in Washington State just for, the measles outbreak, which the only ones, they're the only ones getting the measles are the illegals that are coming in. Mostly all of us in America, we've all had our shots, so we're not going to get it. So, yeah, right. Well, he did 2009. He did a national emergency for H1N1. So Trump could even turn around and if he looked at Washington State, and he's seen the measles outbreaks, and there was that call in I played from the doctor out there in California. And that was January 14th, and 14 days in the new year, she saw 120 cases. And she literally said it was all like illegal alien families. There, most of the people in here, we've already prepped. And when I saw like 2 years ago, all the fires out in California and everything, yeah, well, I ain't getting no more vaccines. Not for the flu, not for anything. I mean, what is it? 27 shots now they're giving people. And anytime you go to the hospital, when was the last time you had a tetanus shot? Really? It used to be like what, every 10 years or something, and they just want to pop everyone with a shot for something, and it's like, yeah, no, I don't want that. Yeah, Daria. Matter of fact, Drop and us were talking about it. I think Drop's going to end up doing a show. Because there's other things there's some things you can stock up. Like I grab extra things when things are on sale, whatnot. I'll pick them up, and so. But that's pretty much. I mean, I've been accumulating stuff. I seen 2 summers ago. I seen what was going on, and I was like, ooh, because I was thinking, with all the crap burning up, all that crap burning up and everything, I was like, maybe a food shortage. And then November they came right out and they said, yep, you should be prepared for 2 to 6 months at least. Yeah, I don't do that bone broth, Gus. I do the colloidal silver and the iodine, which I sent you. Yeah, I got the cats in my hair. I get my hairs all over my face, and Ben, I think they've been picking people up. I don't think that those are drills. I think it's the real deal, and they're just saying it's a drill because everybody be freaking out. And like I said before, for the military tribunals, the military has to pick them up. They got to get them over to one of the barracks or something like that. So, sorry. So they can't put them in a cop car because it's not a state thing. It's a military thing. So, whether they're going to... I just really hope it's happening because I think we all deserve a non-corrupt government, people that are stealing stuff. And I still think old Nancy baby, she was headed out with her 93 relatives, but her first stop was with the with NATO out there in Europe. So kind of weird that when she didn't get out there to NATO, they freaking gave NATO $1 trillion. $1 trillion. Chop, I think they're already doing them. So, oh, I hope not, Dev. $1 trillion. Yep. And you know what, Club? Here's the kicker. Russia can go to NATO or any of the NATO members and they can say, well, I need new submarines or I need new whatever for military. Why would we even bother building up our military? If we're just going to give other countries the money to build up their military, where does it end? I think it was the raid area. Well, drop, you know, and then what was it? Friday, they did DC between 4 and 6. They said that there was a drill. So I think if we watch this week, if they have another drill this upcoming next couple weeks, then I'm going to be convinced they are raids and that it is going down. But like I said, you can't just land helicopters in the middle of the street and not tell anyone because people are going to freak out. How do you keep everybody calm and cool? It's just a drill. Just don't worry about it. It's just a drill. Because otherwise people would freak out. They would just freak out. And you can't say, hey, we're going to make arrests in LA. It's going down because these people are going to leave. They're going to go hiding and everything else. So, and, you know, I mean, I could be wrong. That's fine. Why does Germany need USA to protect it from Russia? Exactly, Club. Well, the EU, they want their own military now. Well, that could be too, Drop. But still, I don't think that they're going to announce that they're picking people up. They're still going to have to, they're going to have to, I don't know, false flag something. Somebody said Obama. Yeah, that's what I heard too, Ed. And if you pull up their Twitter accounts, Obi-Wan, he posted a Christmas picture of him and Michael there in the White House. So, and it was 2 years old. So you're not seeing a lot of new pictures, holiday pictures. Oh yeah, and old Nancy, for Valentine's Day, she said Happy Thanksgiving. I saw that. And Bruce, you know what I think they did? I think they just threw down a tarp and whatever it was that they had to collect in there, they threw everything in the tarp. They just wrapped it because they had enough people. I mean, that could have been one of our specialty people that went in and extracted that. They did. I saw that. Who did that piece? And it was really good. I think Grand Supreme. I think he did a really, really good where you could see it. So, and you could see them all. And it was funny because, what was it? Wells Fargo Bank was on one side and Chase was on the other. And then we started having problems days later with those guys. No, there's no deals. No deals. But you catch the right canary and it's going to sing. Yeah, right, Drop. Was that funny? I don't know. Well, wait a minute. I mean, who knows? Maybe they had something up in Bohemian Grove killing babies or something, you know. So maybe it was Thanksgiving for them. Yeah. Carpenter, I'm believing it, but I mean, I just hope that at some point, you know, maybe Trump comes on and says, well, guess what? We got them. No, Ben, you know why? He did that to show that he was being reasonable. He did it to show, okay, we got to strike up some kind of deal. And there's no go. There's no compromise with them. So he gave them enough time to show the people, hey, look, we're not working together well. And then not to mention, I mean, with the national emergency, he can pull from other funds. Oh, I bet he gave her a lot more, Dev. Oh, geez, drop. Nope, Ben. Nope, can't. Nope. Oh, Hades riding? Get out of Dodge, Daria. They would, JB. It's, you know, they're still butthurt that Hillary didn't win, and they would add a clone for her anyway, because she's not in the best of health, if she's still alive at all. So it's just, you know, it's a wait and see, and that's good, drop. Oh, did you guys hear? California's gonna try a little look and see deal. They're gonna send like a group of people $500 to see if like what is it, the basic income. Oh, okay. Sorry, Lion Rick. So yeah, they want to do an experiment with come on, well, it's going to be $500. So I don't know, what's that, like card payments or something? I don't think people should have a basic income. I mean, and really, what's $500 going to do? Just to pay rent and all your bills, it's going to cost you $1,200 to $1,000 a month, or $2,000 a month. Get mo, get more. That's right, Daria. But I mean, you know, maybe when everybody gets freaking rounded up and this and that, he'll do like you know, something and say, "Yep, we got them." And then I think that we should have like a New Year's or something declared or some crap, some holiday, and we just got to be more mindful. You got to go to every election in your town. There was on the ballot. There's all kinds of different elections, but on the ballot here, there were some sections that only had Democrats running. So it's just one of them things that some people are getting into offices because there's no challengers. So they just, you know, they go in. Whenever I see that, I always write Kevin. I'm like, hey, hon, I went and wrote you in. Yeah, healthcare is going to be a mess. Oh yeah, drop. I agree. I absolutely agree. NATO, and the UN. I'm glad we got out of the what was that? The one UN portion that had China and everybody else. Then I've been watching what the heck's his name? I'm having horrible brain fog today. Um, Florida Marquis. It was like at least 6 months ago. He was bringing up. He showed all the Navy ships right across from there. It's only like Venezuela is like a 35-minute cruise in a helicopter or some crap. They're not that far off. They're about 300 miles away. So our U.S. Navy was out there, and they got two different. I don't know if you want to call it tracking or whatever. And he was zooming in, and then he lost all the ships, and then he'd zoom out, and you could see them. So, and then within the last 2 months, then Russia went out there, and then China went out there. Then all this migration stuff, I believe that is the invasion. And I'm still thinking that some of these guys are probably being sent to different areas, and they might just be training camps. Bruce, they still took it. They took a bunch of stuff. They're right there in Colombia. It's right at the border because they got two people claiming to be president there. Yeah, we know the UN is doing this crap. Yes, he does, Ben. Yes, he does. Yeah, and what they say, yeah, it's going to be millions. Well, I mean, to be fair, once we get the southern border done, we should do the freaking northern border too. You know, and it's like, yeah, you can come in, use the door. Yeah, Colombia, that's they got a bunch of military planes going out stocked with food and water. It's the other guy who's claiming that he won presidency. So I guess we're helping him out. We already got 40 million in here, Ben. They've been saying 11 million since what? Bush? In 8 years of freaking Obi-Wan. Yep, 11 million, 11 million, 11 million. Well, Gus, you know, it's only going to be so many people really that are they're gonna burrow under, but it should stop up a lot of stuff. I did the Agenda 21. It was like a 27-minute video. I think a lot of those people, some of them, you didn't even have to get all of them. I think they got vaccinated and they were infected. Yeah, I woke up at like, I don't know, 10:30 or something like that, 11, and so I didn't get a whole lot done. I didn't listen to a whole lot of news. I like listening to Marfugel. When I wake up, I'm like doing the Marfugel thing. So I like his call-in shows. I hope that I can get like more call-ins and stuff like that. Exactly, Ben. And you know what? We have a Western cultural, and you see how that worked out. Oh, you can't say Merry Christmas. It's offensive. No, we're the Western cultural. These are the holidays, you know, and then everybody else needs a holiday and this and that. No, no. 18-meter boundary. Look up the Roosevelt. Well, you know what, Drop? Also, there was so much money that was allocated to build fences, borders, whatever. What happened to all that money? Because the crap never got built. Who stole that money? Where'd that money go? Ben, and you're right. And, you know, but with all the illegals, you know, we're trying to get our standard income, or, you know, $8.25 an hour. We're trying to get that up. And if you got people that are willing to work for less, then American people are not going to get, you know, a good wage. So it's just one of them things that, yeah, it's raining good out here. Wonder if we got pink skies. Don't even have to look at the weather. I just look at the skies at night when I let the dog out. I'm like, yep, it's going to rain tomorrow. Skies are pink. Pretty much, Club. They got to do something, because these people, once they get in here, it's so hard, because they're not citizens. They really don't have to adhere to our laws. I mean, I would never go into a different country and break all their laws. When I went to Canada, They said you're not entitled to our healthcare system, you're not entitled to our education, you're not entitled to work, yada, yada, yada. And really, they're like cockroaches. If you cut off the food source, they ain't coming. You know, it's like, hey, yeah, come to America to give you housing, food, medical. Yeah, no, no. When you can't take care of your own citizens, right, you got a problem. Because I think, you know, Americans, it's just like that lady that came here. Kev was like, yeah, well, And she said, sorry, we're broke. I said, oh, yeah. I said, I can imagine. $20 billion so far this year for illegals. I can see why we can't afford to take care of citizens. This one was a total liberal. Freaking at shotgun sitting in the corner next to Kev. She left shortly after that. So, yeah, but, you know, here's somebody that worked every day of his life, got sick, you know what I mean, needs a little help until things start working out, and yep, sorry, don't have the money. So I was kind of like, woof, woof. So, but that's the way it is. That's just the way it is. So I think they need to shut it all down. Shut the whole stinking border down. The only thing that comes and goes is, you know, deliveries. Shut it all down. Boom. Sorry, we're shutting our border down. Not a good time to go visiting. Guess we are. We're fed up. I mean, honestly, I mean, I don't think we mind helping Americans. You know, sometimes life just takes a wrong turn. But how can you give a total with what was the one state? Is it Hawaii? Gets $42,000 a year to be on welfare. It's like $20 more than the minimum wage out there. So what's it saying? Oh well, if I don't work, I'm going to do better in life. I don't even get 40,000 a year. You know what I mean? And I worked my life. I put into it. I mean, I didn't ask for the MS. I'm like, and there's 127 different programs that you can get money from in America. I didn't know that. I get help from 2, 3. Well, Ben, exactly. That's why I said what Trump needs to do is say, no, you have to be a citizen or you have to be here legally and we'll help you. All these people jumping the border, nope, they shouldn't get any help. Yeah, I've never been to Hawaii, so I don't know, but there's other states too. I mean, 30,000, 28,000. I'm sitting here going, I don't even get that crap. Well, they need to challenge it then, Bruce. I mean, somehow, some way, we need to start protesting on different things. Yeah, right, Dev? And, you know, the whole MS, for me, I mean, my mom had to take shots to carry me, and, you know, there's just certain things that happen, and the environment. I'm definitely going for a part-time job just to get out of the house. So I'll deal with all that stuff, but I just want to have a little bit of a social life, you know, or just do something just to get out. But one of my part-time jobs ended up being 60 hours, so but I'm afraid, you know what I mean? Because I've always had really good work ethics. I'd work through 103 temperature. I'd be sick as a dog, and finally my bosses would send me home. They're like, "We need you for the weekend. You know, go home for 2 days." And Well, Club, here's another thing I was thinking of. Now, I hope they get tougher with these people bringing the kids in. I wonder if, they've been dipping into that and taking these children for years and years that are coming over the border. Because, I mean, if these kids are not with their actual family, yep, yep. So it's a mess. And, I mean, we had a sheet around election time that came out, and it showed us all the different dates for different voting. Because voting, you don't just have every 2 years the president and the rest of the crap. There's other things that come up for vote in your own little counties. So it's something like call the election board and find out. You know what I mean? And we gotta vote on everything, and that's the only way that we're gonna freaking keep a better, closer eye on this. And like I said, if you got just a Dem running, they get the position. And that's how they've been doing it all along. I never knew there was any other elections except, the ones in November every 2 years. So that's just, and we gotta be mindful. I never knew. I started reading the stuff coming in. It's gonna be one thing or another, and let's listen to what else 22 report had.
America Lives. Then Q gave us another link to the statement by the president. And it says, today I have signed into law HJ Resolution 31, the Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2019, which authorizes appropriations to fund the operation of number agencies in the federal government through September 30th, 2019. Now, at the end of all this, we're going to sum all this up. So let me just continue with the post right here. Post 2748, and Annan responds to Q's post 2746 with the following. The Scaramucci play, temp hire to remove embedded untrustworthy staffers, Spicer, Priebus. Temps can be very dangerous to those who are targeted. Think Whitaker.
Oh, Ben.
And it's in brackets.
Did you hear that she put her boyfriend?
Q responds to the Annan with
on
post
the let me pause this again.
The Scaram.
She's got her. Cortez has her boyfriend listed. He's getting a paycheck. She said she added him so he could have her schedule. And oh no, he's not working because that's illegal as crap. So I think they're going to take her up in front of the ethics committee now. So, yep, she's all about giving away other people's money. She got her boyfriend in there getting a paycheck, and he ain't doing anything. He doesn't even go to work. She's a dumbass. I love it though. It's like, I'm glad somebody caught it. Yep. She could end up in some trouble. And I love it. Was it, Ed, like a bad train wreck? You just can't look away. Yep. And that guy, he doesn't have an office. He has nothing. And he's on the payroll. And then she tried to lie about it and said, oh, no, I just listed him so he could get my schedule. She's such a bimbo. Such a bimbo. Yeah, she does. That's not even her real name. Oh, wow, Bruce. Exactly, Ben. And you know what? You look at when we started settling and everything, when they went to Ellis Island, those people were quarantined for 30 days to make sure they had no diseases, anything like this. And I'm sorry, if our little stations at the border are filled, sorry, we're full. Maybe they need to do, I don't know, once a month or something, people come, and because they could turn around and declare, they can come in and say, yep, it's due to climate control. That's why we're here. Yep, climate's bad there. But I mean, when the people came, they worked their land, you know what I mean? And then they ended up, there you go, Ben. And that's it. I mean, everybody got a job. You did not just work. But then again, it was a one family income. The wife stayed home. She raised the children. Once the women birthed the bras, I'm sorry. That meant more women are out in the workplace. Then people started winky, rubbing up against each other, and it started breaking up the families. And, you know, you need, now you need two people just to make it. I mean, unless you got like a really good education and, you know, but it's everything depends on a 2-income household. And that's why nobody's getting ahead, really. Yeah, she is. So, I mean, and you got people, you got the state telling you how to raise your kids, you got the state telling you can't, you know, and then you can just freaking get mad at somebody and make them pay through the nose for the next 21 years. Again, you stop the money. You want equal? Here's equal. Man comes up with 50 a week, woman comes up for 50 a week, the money goes into an account, and you have to keep books. None of this 3 kids by 5 different men or 3 different men getting your nails done and, you know, carrying expensive handbags. No, you shouldn't be rewarded. Doesn't matter if you make $1 million a year or freaking 20,000. For each kid you have, each parent puts up $50. That's $100 a month. You want better? Stay home and work it out. And then these girls that move in with these men, well, you know what? Then their income should be reported as your income. What man is not gonna pay bills? So, you know, and it's a big scam. It's a big scam. And then, you know, it's a shame because the one parent that doesn't have the kids and is paying through the nose can't afford to get their kids Christmas presents. I think if you made it fair and it's $50 a week for each person, then you could afford to go and spend $50 more and give the kids something, take them out, do something. Yeah, Ben. So, I mean, that would be my idea how to fix the system, you know, and you know, and then these women are getting child support or the men, and then someone gets ended up thrown in jail because hard times happen, and they take the licenses, then you can't drive to work, and it's just having children should be a blessing, not a curse, not something that's going to torture you for 21 years. Kids are a handful. You know, and Democrats, utopia is a prison. Think about it. Free rent, food, healthcare, education, security, and guaranteed jobs. They will control where, how, and when. Exactly, Emerald. And sometimes I think I just go live because they're like, oh yeah, your phone can turn on, it can record you, your TV can record you, and I'm like, okay, here's how interesting my life is. You got it. I'm right here. So that's kind of weird. I mean, I think it's going to give everybody a good case of paranoia. You know, no matter where you go in a store, there's always cameras on you and this and that. And not quite what I had in mind. I mean, I don't feel very free. I feel intruded on. What I look up on my computer is my business. But Obi-Wan signed all the internet over to freaking UN. Dad, it's when parents split up, it should be civil, and unfortunately, it's not. It's a big get even. Who can screw who over more? Who can drag them back into court every year? And it's crazy. And how can you really parent your kid right if you're in and out of court, and then the kids are hearing stuff? Kids shouldn't be hearing that. Kids shouldn't be hearing that mom's doing this or dad's doing this. They shouldn't hear it. It's hard enough because they're without two parents. And then however many men or women that get drug in and out, and so everything seems to be so temporary. Is it the DNS servers and Hillary? She's got the keys to all of them. She's got the keys to just about every computer. Exactly, Emerald. Some people don't have the smarts to run a business. They just don't. They make poor financial decisions, and they get nowhere. So there are some people that just need to go work. It's like, I get a part-time job. I'll have to, on my next stream. No, Bruce, it shouldn't be that, because it was the second to the fastest speed. That's the one I picked. Just cats for me. Yeah, Dev. Yeah, well, I get it that there's some people that are disabled or elderly, but they've paid into the system. No, Ed, they can't. They can't. My brother, he thought he was Mr. Smarty Pants, and he wanted to open a landscaping business. He went out, he bought riding lawnmowers, financed them, credit cards, new truck, financed it, all the equipment, plus he had a house mortgage, all those bills, and all the other stupid stuff he bought along the way. So then, he had to make over what, 2,500 a month. So, he couldn't, oh no, I got to make an opinion, and I'll change it next time I go live. I can't do it right now. Yeah, Ben, they got this, so it's just so corrupt. Same with me, Dev. But I've been an auntie to a lot of friends' kids, and I've made a good impact on their life. Well, it's the contracts not so hard. You write up things specifically, but people go into too much debt. The only reason my business did good was literally I did with what I had. I didn't have a choice. I didn't get a loan. I didn't get anything. So, it was poop or get off the pot. I was 2 months behind in my rent. I had no heat, no nothing. And it was one of those things of, I'm going to go for it. So that's just what, that's how I did it, and it worked. I didn't start going into debt until like my 4th year. But I waited, and I my pickup. I paid $1,000 for it. I started with the Suzuki Samurai for roofing. Then I don't want to see it. I really don't, because you got Russia, China over there. Everybody, it's going to be a free for all if we do, and it's too dang close to our back door. It's what it's like 300 miles away. That's it. If you don't have it in small town politics, forget it. The area had nothing to do with the politics. Nothing. Actually, I spanked one of the building inspectors. I said, "You show me where my system's not going to work. You show me." And the guy showed me the building code and everything. And I looked at the front of the book, and I opened it up, and I looked at the back. The book was 3 years old. I said, "Once you update your code book," I said, "I went to the manufacturer. It was a tapered insulation system. The manufacturer did all the schematics on it." So, yeah, I closed it. I said, "I'm going back to work. I'm putting my guys back to work. When you get your code book updated," the guy I had them. And like, I never dealt with building permits and all that stuff. Gosh, no wars are good. But apparently, this guy, Maduro, he's supposed to be some tyrant, and the other guy supposedly won. The other guy called us in. I keep forgetting his name. Well, I miss the little mom and pop stores. There's some places that won't even there's some towns that won't let Walmart in. You got to drive 40, 50 minutes to get to a Walmart. But all their mom and pop places are still up. You get Home Depot and you get a Walmart in there, and all little mom and pop places close out. Is it 3,000? Bruce, they said it was a 35-minute flight. I don't think you can go 3,000 miles in 30 minutes, 35 minutes. Yeah, Vietnam, and I felt so bad for soldiers that came out. I mean, people spit on them and everything else. And religion's a big divider. Nah, Gus, there's nothing good about it. It's senseless deaths and everything else. $2,797 miles. And maybe, Bruce, I confused the distance with the minutes, because they said it was like a 35-minute ride or something. At least that's what I heard. Gus, and you know what? There's weird stuff that goes on in the world all the time, and like Kev, he just got dropped off places. He got sent there, and that was it. He did what he was told to do. Taco all over the floor. I don't know. I don't believe that we should be and there's profit in wars, just like there's profit in medications, there's profit in pharmaceutical companies. They said from the Miami tip, it was something about 300 miles, I thought. But I mean, I could be wrong, but I heard something today that it's a 35 minute flight, and that's right to the border there, the Colombian border, because they're sending out supplies and stuff to those people. Now Maduro said he didn't want our supplies because he was afraid we would be, attacking them or something through there. Well, I mean, Ben, you got two people declaring to be president over there. Florida to Cuba. Okay. There we go. But I mean, and sometimes it comes down to the people. Maybe the people of Venezuela need to freaking they have to have a revolution over there. Gus, no, it's never fair. The things that some of our men have to endure, I say, you know what? I like to see the freaking presidents get in the ring. Go ahead, fight it out. You guys have a difference in opinion. One of you guys are getting knocked out. Club, you're right. And more now. I mean, I always said, some people say, Trump was placed in there. Trump did more. Good night, Ed. Trump did more by stoking the patriots. So yeah, and we got our military, we got the National Guard, and then there's the patriots. So we are, we're the last defense. Yeah, well, those people are overpaid. Lockheed Martin, I don't trust that company. I think with that $1 trillion, Lockheed Martin has the contracts for all the military stuff. The $1 trillion that NATO's getting. And it's all good right now. Everything will straighten out. But I was a little upset that somebody else didn't lose a wrench, because somebody else that doesn't usually go into that chat room, they came into that chat room for one reason, and that was to screw with me. It was deliberate. I was chased all over the internet and everything, and that's what I was trying to tell Aaron. I said, Aaron, well, you know what? And I noticed after I left, because I still got him up, that one person left. So stop the delete. Oh yeah, the QTEL. I have been. I had like two freaks come into my chat room when I was up like all hours and doing 8-10 hour shows. And one guy was just a creepy weirdo, and then there was another guy that was like flirting with me, and then it became over flirting. I was like, yo, buddy, I'm very flattered, but I'm taken. Thank you very much. And well, you got to smack them around, play with them a little, Ben. You put them in a timeout, and then they're mad, so they wait the 5 minutes. Then they come back in, and they get banned again. So they got to sit there and listen to you. And they got to sit there and read everything, and they get fuming. So you got to smack them around a little bit before you flush them. But Daria, were you here that morning? That one guy, he was like, "Are you right in your location at the present?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm here, sure." Had fun trying to find my my IP address, though. It's all over the place. Yeah, well, Ben, I think some of us have have dipped into some other chats to troll a little bit too, just to watch them go nuts. No, well, look, liberals or not, maybe, just maybe, it'll make them think. And if they just catch something, maybe they'll go check it out. But now they got that fact checker stuff coming up. So, and they're left leaning. So people like anybody that's conspiracy or says, well, what if? Okay, yeah, boop. Yeah, and so yeah, I had two of them. And it was towards the end of a show, and I'm like, what the heck kind of question's that? And then the person was gone. What you gonna do, show up at my door? Good luck. Not like I haven't been stalked before. It's okay. Oh, yeah. Well, drop their... How many people do they have so far running for 2020? Yeah, there's just freaks out there, Dev. I think somehow or another, they think just because they're behind a keyboard, they can say or do anything they want. There's like no restriction in their mind. They're like, oh, well, I'm just behind a keyboard. I'll just type whatever I feel. And, it's like if you're talking to somebody in their face, you know that there's certain things you can't say. Hey, Ben, that's okay. I had a hand with CNN after they pulled all that crap with the info. No, Daria. Yeah, drop. She's an idiot. She's the youngest in Congress, though. I can't wait. I hope she does go up in front of the ethics committee and straighten her little ass right out with her crazy eyes and her little fang teeth. And do you remember that dancing video she did? That was duplicated from the scene of the Breakfast Club. If anybody remembers the Breakfast Club, when they were in suspension, they all did that dance, and the one girl that shook all her freaking dandruff all over the table, and right down to the guys doing this thing. So yeah, that was just a remake. It wasn't even original. Fang tooth. I agree, Ben. What one is that? Yeah, video will play after ad. The medicinal plants. I actually have those purple flowers. Those little purple little flowers, they're out in my yard now. Well, you know what? Some people of different faiths, if they're brought up to kill Christians and America is mostly Christian, yeah, I don't think they should be allowed here. Guess none of us are free. And like I said, slavery was never abolished. It just became equal. Guess lots of people are waking up. Hey, it's a pretty smart thing to bring my thermos, huh? Now I don't have to keep running out to get a cup of coffee. I get it all fresh right before the show. Booyah! So, all right, I'm going to turn the X22 back on. Let's give it another 20
Lucci
minutes.
play and repeats what the
And I do
Annan
have to
said,
take a bathroom
confirming
break.
that, yes, he is
2
correct.
hours. Good.
2749. And Annan put up part of the briefing statement by the
Yeah,
president.
and you know,
Here
and the thing is
section
that
the Annan
Americans
put up.
live off a credit card.
Numerous provisions purport in
Nobody
certain
saves for
circumstances to
anything.
condition the authority of officers to spend
Yeah, I
or
think I got
reallocate
wild
funds
onions coming up
on
in
the
the yard
approval of
too.
congressional committees. Division B, sections 702, 706, 716A,
Ooh, I'm
B,
sore.
Division E, section 403, 409, Division G, section 188, 405,
I need a good
406.
back massage.
These are
Ooh.
impermissible forms of congressional
All right, be right back.
aggrandizement
Bathroom break.
in the execution of the laws other than by the enactment of statutes. My administration will make appropriate efforts to notify the relevant committees before taking the specified actions and will accord the recommendations of such committees all appropriate and serious consideration. But it will not treat spending decisions as dependent on the approval of congressional committees. So under this, it says, see all restrictions are off. Now, this is the interesting part where Trump says the following, but will not treat spending decisions as dependent on the approval of congressional committees. And under this, it says, trust your president, Q. Remember, all of this has been planned for. Let's move on to post 2750. And Annan says, Trump's statement is brilliant. Deep State loaded the bill with multiple facets to block, and his White House statement just released systematically points out section by section where they tried to block him, and he countered that by citing presidential and constitutional authority. Shall we play a game where we go one, we go all? Now, the Deep State, they loaded the bill with landmines. And we heard Trump say, I'm going to look through here for all the landmines. Once they found all the landmines, he created these executive orders which countered each one. So what they tried to do did not work. Post 2751. And Annan said, I trust POTUS and I trust the Lord. The Lord is leading POTUS. Of that I am certain. Q says the Lord is leading us all. Good versus evil. Post 2752. And Annan responded to Q when Q posted the two links of the president's statement and border security victory. These phrases below imply that Trump plans on following his constitutional rights no matter what he signed in the Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2019. The act, which authorizes appropriations to fund the operation of a number of agencies in the federal government through September 30th, 2019. My administration will treat each of these provisions consistent with the president's constitutional authorities with respect to foreign relations, and my administration will continue the practice of treating provisions like these as advisory and non-binding, and my administration will make appropriate efforts to notify the relevant committees before taking the specified actions and will accord the recommendations of such committees all appropriate and serious consideration, but it will not treat spending decisions as dependent on the approval of congressional committees. Q says, you are the news now. So let's talk about the border and Trump and what all this means. Q and the other patriots, they were able to put one over on the deep state. Hashtag winning bigly. First, let's look at the Bradford file and the tweet. Carter, the border is a crisis. Reagan, the border is a crisis. Bush 41, the border is a crisis. Clinton, the border is a crisis. Bush 43, the border is a crisis. Obama, the border is a crisis. Trump, I declared a national emergency. Democrats, what crisis? So almost every president before Trump has been saying the border is a crisis. And finally, Trump said, I declare a national emergency. And then all of a sudden they say, what crisis? This is ridiculous. So during Trump's press conference, Acosta from CNN tries to use stats to show why the border crisis is not an emergency. Trump did not fall for it. He shut down Acosta right away, said he was fake news. But CNN, they continued with their agenda using stats while talking about the border security. And they brought on a former Border Patrol chief. And they were hoping by using their statistical information, because, you know, CNN is fact-driven, they would trap this individual with the statistics. And guess what happened? The opposite happened. Take a listen.
Border Patrol chief. Mark, thanks for being with us. First, your reaction to the president declaring national emergency to fund his border wall.
Look, from my experience as a law enforcement and border security aspect, not from some political ideology, right or left, in my opinion, the president had no choice. Congress has failed. They've continued to fail. This bill was a failure with respect to doing what the men and women, the experts have asked, the tools and resources they need. This bill was a failure. They left the president no choice but to do what he's doing, and I support. And real quick, your last guest, with all due respect, he can't speak for the men and women of the United States Border Patrol. I can. I was there, and I feel very comfortable speaking for them. Right now, they are applauding this president. He is listening to them, especially with the fact that drugs coming to the ports. The president is right.
I know you support the wall, so let's just take piece by piece here. Is this a national emergency when you consider southern border arrests have dropped dramatically over the past couple of decades? They're going down, not up.
Yeah, so that's a false narrative. So first of all, let's take that apart real quickly. One of the reasons that they've gone down is because we've applied a multi-layer strategy of barriers, technology, and personnel, which is what the experts are still wanting, which Congress didn't do.
I had a problem for 10 years.
But Congress did just do that in the border security.
It did have issues, though, getting caps off of, like, Getty jars,
$23 billion total when it comes to border
opening
security.
jars.
The barrier piece being $1.375 billion of that.
Exactly, and that's the key part. They didn't give them resources. They're not giving them enough technology in between the ports, and they're not giving the physical barrier on it, which is the key element of that multi-layer strategy, which in part in the past has reduced the illegal immigration that you talk about and want to twist around. In Yuma, Arizona, 23 miles of physical barrier, technology, and personnel, the illegal immigration went from 150,000 to 15,000. It works. We need more of it, and the experts will tell you they need more of it, and Congress is not listening to them.
But you know, while still
a good diuretic that what I read was dandelion tea or dandelion root.
Using a ladder, climbing over the wall that's already at the border in Arizona.
Yeah, exactly. Another false narrative. So look at that wall. That wall is an
then every once in a while I get my butt up.
Replaced and upgraded. And then another part is no one has ever said that a wall is 100% effective, Anna. That's the false narrative. Yeah. Sure, it's going to be defeated, 99. But it's still 80 to 90% effective. It still works. When was the last time a 90% effective strategy, all of a sudden you say it doesn't work? Of course they're going to get over it. Of course they're going to get under it. But overall, it's effective.
I hear what you're saying, but is it an emergency? On the issue of the drugs, we're about the facts first here at CNN. The president said it's wrong, that it's a lie, that most drugs come through ports of entry. Sure, we do know there are drugs that are coming as well across the border in between ports of entry, but it's DEA, it's Customs and Border statistics that tell us otherwise. Do you have a problem with the president misleading the public on this? Again, maybe he's twisting the facts here. There is some, we know, of drugs coming across in between ports of entry, but that's not the majority.
So that's false. So actually, your previous guest is twisting it. So let's break that down a little bit. So the statistics, we're talking about those drugs that are actually interdicted. And if you include, so if you look at meth, heroin, cocaine, and fentanyl, the majority that's interdicted comes at the port. But if you throw in marijuana, which a lot of people don't want to talk about, pound for pound, the overall drugs, more are actually seized in between the ports. The other element that no one ever talks to, especially on this show, is the fact that the border is 60% porous, meaning there's not enough technology, personnel, or infrastructure to adequately safeguard the border. 60%. On it, we don't know what's getting through. So the experts will tell you, for every pound of narcotics that's seized in between the ports, there are countless that's getting through that we'll never know. So the president is right on that.
I really appreciate your perspective. Thank you, Mark Morgan, for joining us.
As you can see, these people on the front lines, they know exactly what's going on, and they blew all these statistics completely out of the water to show that that was a fake agenda. Mark Meadows says the following, that renegade GOP lawmakers will fail to derail Trump's border emergency. He tweeted the following, given Congress will try to block this executive action, I am seeing speculation Congress could override a POTUS veto with GOP votes. They will not. The votes will not be there. There is a broad GOP plus American support for POTUS taking legal constitutional action to protect families. So you can see, not just on the Democratic side, but on the Republican side, there are those that are part of the deep state that don't want this to move forward. They're trying to stop Trump at every turn. It's the same thing that we see out in Syria and all the other places where they don't want him to bring troops home. They're fighting against all of this. Why? Because they're involved with the deep state. And we can see that Trump went ahead and he decided to use Obama's previous national emergency on Mexican drug cartels to get some funding for the border walls. So back in 2011, Obama issued an executive order blocking property of transnational criminal organizations. Obama cited his authority as granted through the Constitution to invoke the International Emergency Economic Powers Act.
Then we got a lot
50
of really
U.S.C.
smart people.
1701 and the National Emergency Act of 50 U.S.C. 1601. The latter is the same legislation that Trump is citing to get funding for the wall to achieve his immigration reform goals. That executive order targeted a number of criminal organizations, including the Mexican Los Zetas cartel and an ally of the MS-13 gang.
Darius, some
Trump
people
has
have
regularly
to.
called out as a danger to Americans.
I'm
so
just
he's
glad I
using
didn't.
Obama's
You know, I was
executive order
able to like just
in all of
stop
this, and he
the
did this
stuff.
on purpose. So Trump knew there were landmines in this spending bill.
It's almost like they
and
want
they
to keep
prepared
you
for it.
quelled.
So the
You
president,
know what I mean? And then you can't
when he
really see
announced
what's going on.
his
And
national emergency, and also put together the border security and the statement by the president.
and really, none of it really
he
helped.
basically did the following. Those passages in the spending bill he signed that restrict his authority are null and void because they
Next time I'll
interfere
go into
with
the
executive
settings
functions
and
under the
up
Constitution. So everything that they tried to do, he completely countered them.
the BPs or whatever it is.
So the White
I'm
House
telling you, I got a brain fog
did not
today.
make one executive action, as we can see. In reality, they made three, only one of which involved an emergency declaration.
Whoop! Again, this
First,
thing popped.
The White House announced they would be funding $601 million in wall construction
There's a
from
good
the Treasury
thermos.
Forfeiture Fund, relying on 31 U.S.C. 9705. This does not require an emergency declaration, so we can use the $601 million. Second, the White House announced they would be funding $2.5 billion in
if
wall
people are
construction
doing it just
under
to get
10
stoned,
U.S.C. 284.
you know,
This does not
if it's a
require
medical
an emergency
thing,
declaration.
I'd rather
So now
see
Trump
it.
has $2.5 billion plus the $601 million, and it has nothing to do with the emergency declaration. Finally, the White House announced they would be funding the $3.6 billion under 10 U.S.C. Section 2808. This money does require an emergency declaration. So according to the White House, this money will be spent sequentially. So the Section 9705 money will be spent first, then the 284, then the 2808 money. So depending on how fast they can begin construction, they will have to spend about $5 billion, including the $1.3 billion in fencing appropriation, before any of the emergency money is ever tapped. So while the deep state is distracted with their lawsuits with national emergency, and we know that Trump came out and said, oh, they're going to sue him, and there's like 7 different lawsuits going on right now, the Trump team will begin building the wall using all the other funds, while the mainstream media, the deep state, are very, very busy fighting him in court for this money that they're not even going to use yet, because they're going to go through all the other money first. So guess what's going to happen? The wall will be built, and by the time they need that other money, everything will be settled out, and Trump will get his way, because he's abiding by the Constitution. And they don't have a leg to stand on. And the wall will be almost done. Think about what's happening here. He outmaneuvered the deep state. He has all this money without touching the national emergency money. They put one over on the deep state. Post 2753.
I love Trump.
Q gave us a link to T-Boots and take a listen to what this individual has to say, because I think it says absolutely everything we need to know.
Really?
Drug
Man.
painkillers are the worst.
I don't understand it. Obviously, it's not Republicans out there causing all this
Iodine did
destruction,
more for me than
You know,
painkillers.
burning up the
All
streets,
my muscles would
blocking
be
roads,
balled up.
things like
Start
that.
taking that
The
iodine.
liberals, you know,
3 weeks, man.
these
stuff.
are the same
My
people
muscles
that
started just going pop,
are
pop, pop,
against
pop,
the
pop.
Second Amendment because they want to decrease violence and nobody should have guns. The same people that are anti-abortion because they want to save lives. And you're causing all this destruction just because your candidate lost. See, that's the problem with this country. You can't always get your way. Everybody wants to be politically correct. Quit being crybabies. Ain't nothing free. You ain't no slave. You don't get your way. So you act like a 2-year-old, burning up people's stuff,
I like this guy.
destroying the streets, making people late for work. Man, I'm glad I don't live in New York City or Washington or Oregon, because I would run one of y'all asses over. You are outrageous, man. You are the exact reason why Donald Trump won the election. Because we're tired of you crybabies. You didn't earn anything. None of you put on a uniform. But you're quick to disrespect the flag. Not want to say the Pledge of Allegiance. Now I want to recognize the Bible. But you want everything. You didn't fight for anything, but you want it. It doesn't work like that. You know, I think it should be all these people out there that want to protest and burn stuff up. I don't think the cops should protect them. Obviously, when people look at the flag and say, that's not my flag, Donald Trump is not my president, then you know what? Then obviously, this ain't your damn country. Please,
This
find
guy's
another
cool.
flag. Find another president. Go to Mexico. I really don't care. But quit tearing up stuff. Quit causing destruction and preaching peace. Because you're contradicting yourself. I'm Deion Alexander, American First.
And everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared.
There you go. Oh, Dev, by the way, I had to peek in on air, and there's like a lot of people lost their wrenches over there. Gus, no, you can't. You gotta wait to get your package. And you need to take better care of yourself and get some rest and some good food in you. How much sleep you get in the last 4 days, Gus? I know you haven't eaten anything in 2 days. I know you didn't sleep for 2 days. You got to take better care of yourself. Right, Dev? No, I peek in from time to time and I'm laughing. Yep. It's funny. It's just like a bad train wreck. You just can't look away. Yeah, Dev. Things will get better. I mean, come on. We've been called everything. Just from the leftist side. So it hasn't weakened us. We just look at it like, screw it. I don't think it really matters anymore. And I guess they think that we all need a safe space. You know, we're not the left. We don't need a safe space. We're true Americans. Americans are, well, they always used to be pretty tough. They're getting a little soft now. They want to take your gender away now. Cross. Second bottle of CU. Yeah, I got the CBC. I got the hemp oil. If I'm having a lot of pain, I try that. I don't think I take enough to really see if it works or not. I only take like a little bit because I'm real hypersensitive. Those allergy pills were killing me. I had to take allergy pills in here. Yeah, Gus, and it's affecting his heart too. His heartbeats are up to 107. I haven't tried the Bodies yet. I sent some to Pat for his pops, and I sent some to Don. So, oh, by the way, Dev, if anybody that goes into Don's, we're now Dallas supposedly is going to send Don 100. I'm going to send Don 100. So I think he needs $300 for his computer. So we got to get $100 raised for him. So if we get 4 people and just $25 or something, even if it's the beginning of the month, you know, old Don, he does some really good stuff. You know, I mean, he's taking care of a stranger. That's not even his family. He could, I mean, if he didn't have that, he'd be making 60,000 a year. So to pass his time, you know, he goes ahead and he streams info and yeah, well, we'll get some people together. I said if it's 5, 10, $20, whatever, you know, it's like $100 we need to raise. And Gus did a really big donation, and he's got to get. I mean, they just got his old computer so bogged down, but he said it's like 20 years old. So you know, the state of the art technology, stuff like that, and so I mean, I'm hoping we get a bunch of people, and I mean, his chat room, there's hardly no. Oh, and Ben, it's the organic garlic breathes. They helped Kev out when he had pneumonia. He could breathe a lot better. Okay, Dev, that's okay. We'll do something or another. I gotta get my car's gotta get fixed. I gotta take care of a bunch of stuff, and so not much older than me, Dev. So well, we'll see what happens. Thanks, Ben. I wish you would listen, and I wish we could move, and that ain't happening, and that's by his choice. Yeah, Emerald. No, it's cool. I mean, the hardest thing was being, you know, going up to the hospital every day. I mean, he was in for 9 days. For the first 4 or 5, he was in medical ICU. So, and then we thought that they were going to ventilate him and everything. So that was pretty scary. Emerald, they gave him 6 months. They said he'd be lucky if he made it till Christmas. This is all. I mean, this is. They said if he had pneumonia, that was it. He had pneumonia. What put him in the hospital was a cold virus, which can't give you antibiotics or anything for. I mean, it's just gotta flush its way out. Darius, so are you. And I got a couple people I've met online that they live up around me. So I'm actually next weekend I'm going to go out and have lunch with one of the people that does the streams in New York. It's his sister, and plus he's going to come up and hang out. So I'm like, cool beans. I'll live stream it. I don't care. Like I got to figure I got to get him a bottle of vodka, and if he passes out and goes over in the chair, I just cover him up. Then, you know, Gus has done a lot for a lot of people, and the sad thing is I've seen two people throw it in his face, and that was very hurtful. I mean, come on, if somebody's helping you out of a jam, you can agree to disagree, but you don't have to be mean. Dang, Gus. But Gus, you know the weird thing? Just like with you, Kev does cat naps. He doesn't really sleep. So I stay awake most of the night. I'm afraid if I go to sleep real hard that I'm not going to, you know, if he falls or something. Yeah, Deb, sometimes they're wrong. And I think that, you know, this is an environmental problem. I mean, he's got issues, but you know, I'll never know. I'll never know. It's like he's like, nope, ain't doing it. So you just got to be here for him, you know. Ben, hey Ben, we're gonna do the silver giveaway. I think we're gonna do like a raid. We're gonna go from channel to channel, and there's gonna be some other people that go live. So that's going to be really neat. We don't have we don't have the details worked out yet, but hopefully, you know, people will migrate from channel to channel. We don't know if it's going to be a call in. I'm going to set up a online phone. Dev, you're here by the grace of God. God's not ready yet. I've been thrown back 4 times. And every time it's not your time. That's all I hear. It's all nice, warm, and fuzzy and bright, and it's not your time. There you go, Gus. I get it. A lot of things go through your mind, Gus. Kev looks like he's in some deep thoughts sometimes. And then I got to remind him, hey, I'm going through, you know, the same issue. Well, not the same issues, but I'm going through it too, but I'm watching it. Yeah, Kev ended up with that too, Dev. That's when all this crap started out, and it was actually almost a year ago to date. Let me see. No, I think it'll be the 18th or 19th, and that's 1 year. So, there's lots of love. I mean, you know, we gotta love more. Sometimes people do silly things, stupid things, and you gotta show a little forgiveness. And especially like if you're one of these Bible holy rollers, you know, if you're gonna talk the talk, walk the walk. Don't lean on that Bible. So if you can't be forgiving and you know, everyone wants to be a professional victim, and it just don't flow. Wow, that's a lot. Yeah, right there. You can find something good in everything. Everybody's so like, I don't know. It's like they want to find the bad. You think the silver's any different there, Ben? Hey, Ben, you know what Gus likes? The different bills from America. He kind of saves them, or coins. I sent him a 1914 penny. I had one from I've got ones from the 1800s. I don't know if I packed them. I can't find them. But then he does everything through the mail. So do a freaking currency exchange, silver, whatever. Postcards, you name it. I sent him a nice little packet out. I didn't have any postcards though, and there was something I wanted to get him for Christmas, but I got him something else instead. So. Let me see what else I can scoop up. We got like a half hour left to go. Boy, man, we got some rain coming down. Where's this one thing? It gets right behind that stupid little thing. Oh, I got 9. Is it 9 or 20? Oh. Oh, Craig, welcome. Ooh, YouTube Mania's got an alert. Expert warns of Cold War amid INF treaty withdrawal by U.S. and Russia. Trump said he's gonna make a new treaty. I think that's a little over speculated. Yep. Evolution Energy Arts uploaded. Dam break. 60 miners feared lost. Selling Montana to Canada. Bending ice shelves in Antarctica. Oh, this might be actually something. Ivanka Trump and Wilbur Ross announced the American Workforce Policy Advisory Board. We think you guys want to hear that one? That's it's actually from Fox News. I don't know if I get in trouble for that one. No, let's see what else. Nah, I'm gonna have to go back to my home channel, see what's up in here. Oh, here you go. They got something on Pelosi and Dan Bongino. 13 minutes. We can fit it in.
Hey, Comic Sans user. It's Upwork.
The national emergency declared by President Trump. Here is, let us start you off with just a little bit of his Rose Garden announcement yesterday.
We're talking about an invasion of our country with drugs, with human traffickers, with all types of criminals and gangs. And when you listen to politicians, in particular certain Democrats, they say it all comes through the port of entry. It's wrong. They say walls don't work. Walls work 100%. Nancy knows it. Chuck knows it. They all know it.
I know someone who's going to be fired up about this. We have got Dan Bongino, Fox News contributor, former NYPD officer, former Secret Service agent, and author Spygate, the attempted sabotage of Donald Trump. So, Dan, welcome, as always. I know you're fired up about this. What do you make of his declaration of a national emergency and the floodgates have opened against him, not only from the left, by some on the right as well?
Well, Jedediah, the bill, listen, it was a bad bill. Donald Trump's acknowledged that. A lot of people have acknowledged that on the right and the left, but he was really boxed in by relatively weak Republicans and Democrats up on the Hill who've given up on America entirely. But one thing here, Jedediah, that I think the public is missing. On the funding for the wall side, I'm not sure the Democrats understand yet how badly they got wrecked on this. Wrecked. Listen here. Here's what he did. He's good at this, Trump. He's good at finding ways around these people. He did this thing with the funding on the border where he did the funding sequentially, meaning by the time he gets to the national emergency funding, by the time he even gets there, doing it sequentially, he will already have spent money from the Treasury Forfeiture Fund, $600 million, perfectly legally obtained legislatively, and also money from the military construction budget, the MILCON budget, also obtained perfectly legally. United States Code, 9705 and 284. Now, the sequential part matters because by the time he gets to the $3 billion plus there, the wall's already being built. Again, I don't think the Democrats understand how badly they got owned on this thing on the funding side.
Yeah, they don't agree with you, Dan. I hate to, let me just put up a few quotes from many of the Democrat presidential hopefuls on this national emergency. Elizabeth Warren calling it a temper tantrum. Kirsten Gillibrand calling it an outrageous abuse of power. Bernie Sanders unlawful. Julian Castro, a constitutional crisis.
Dan, I do want to know this because you're a lover of the Constitution. You believe in fidelity to that document. Is the president within his powers on this declaration?
To declare a national emergency according to the 1976 National Emergencies Act, the answer is yes, of course. Congress delegated the power to the president, Pete, to do that. Now, the question isn't on the declaration is perfectly legal according to law. I don't think even the most ardent radical leftists would dispute that. The question is going to be on the funding side. Is the moving around of funds going to be held up in court? But Pete, as I just said to you, if President Trump outfoxed these guys again, because by the time they get to that funding, they have to spend the $1.375 billion allocated according to the bill, the $600 million from the Treasury funds, perfectly legal, and the other $2 billion from the other funds, again from the military construction budget. So there's no doubt about that. He outfoxed them again. I'm sure of it.
I want to start with you because to be clear, the White House laid out these various pots of money that they're looking to for the wall. There's the $1.375 billion from this deal, which had a lot of handcuffs on it. There's $2.5 billion from the Pentagon's Drug Interdiction Initiative, $600 million from the Treasury Drug Forfeiture Program. It is only that $3.5 billion from the Pentagon's Military Construction Fund. That's the only piece of this, up to 8, I think is the total. That's the only piece that comes from declaring this national emergency. Was it necessary?
Well, they were putting this all together for the last 3 months. They didn't know what was going to happen, but you have to understand one thing. The president's not just trying to fulfill a campaign promise. He actually believes it is an emergency. You can put sodium pentothal, give him that. He'd say the same thing. Put him on a lie detector test, it would come out the same way. So he thoroughly believes it. And he deals with law enforcement in coming to that conclusion.
Then he could probably use the cash instead of the
sound bites over the last few days. If these people are saying they don't care about politics, they're saying we need help. We don't have enough money, and we've got to get people for Border Patrol. We need the barrier. It absolutely is effective. And the reason why more drug comes through the ports is because that's where they have the most sensors and monitors. That's why they're picking up most of it.
I love this
so
thing.
to me,
this thing is, I wore this all winter.
times this has been used by presidents since Jimmy Carter. This is the time in which, we're going to test the limitations of the power of the president. I can understand the reservations. The one thing they told me is, the gun analogy doesn't work because that's the Second Amendment. That's a right. Okay. But when you talk about other areas, maybe down the pike, they'll be declared emergency. Maybe if they are an emergency, they should be declared this way because Congress can't do anything effectively.
Emac, here's the other side.
Missing
So,
the freaking Don
in the other cases
Bongino
where you declared
hat not
emergency,
being
you weren't
on
reappropriating
most of the
funds
week.
from somewhere else. But this does violate the Constitution because Congress has the power of the purse. The president does not. That's the argument.
Yeah, that is the argument. That's why 5 Republicans oppose it, including Susan Collins, I think Tom Tillis, and Marco Rubio. Here's the thing. 1993, SCOTUS decision said, yes, the president has the statutory authority to do this, to use reprogrammed money. You see it in the 76 Emergencies Act. It says, you know, he does have the power without regard to any other provision to do this. And the GAO supports this. The 2006 Secure Fence Act supports it. There's language existing that he can do this. You know, we had Representative Mo Brooks saying, how many more dead Americans do you need for this to be declared a national emergency? We had it for swine flu, Sierra Leone diamonds.
Oh, dang,
we know
man.
that President Obama got money for insurers for Obamacare. So, you know,
and was sued and lost.
This will be a war of attrition in the courts, though. You could see that happening. And maybe it was too broad and deferential, the 76 Emergencies Act for the president's power. But, you know, so the issue remains, is it a crisis? Yes. Are people being harmed by it? Are Americans being harmed by it? Yes. So I think that's where the focus of the argument should go.
The president denies that this is creating a precedent. Let's listen to his words, and Jessica, I'll get your response. Go ahead.
The people that say we create precedent, well, what do you have, 56 or a lot of times? Well, that's creating precedent. And many of those are far less important than having a border. You don't have a border, you don't have a country.
Lindsey Graham made the point, too, that Democrats could have made a deal if they wanted to trade for DACA. And it has been interesting to me in the past couple of weeks. You haven't heard Democrats say word one about helping people who are trying to get permanent status here. They could have traded for that.
That's because
Stupid little commercial. I knew one was coming up. Ha.
that they can get a clean bill there. And Nancy Pelosi has said that since the beginning, that she wants a clean bill for dreamers here, and that we're going to be looking at comprehensive immigration reform. You hear the new candidates for president talking about that, like Amy Klobuchar did with Bret Baier. I think there's a distinction to be made here between an emergency and having a wall. And there are border agents and people who work down there who certainly say that a border wall would help us. There are also people like Congressman Will Hurd, who represents 42% of the space there, who says we don't need a wall. And what the president is doing is transferring the language to emergency, which may just be, I believe in this thing. And I agree with you, Brian. He believes in his heart that this is true. But for you to say that he's been president over 2 years now, he had control of both houses and didn't get anything done for this wall that he has been saying has been an emergency since the beginning, since he came down that golden escalator and changed all of our lives, seems ridiculous and patently false. Well, if it's an emergency, it should have been declared an emergency years ago. The numbers have not changed. Actually, when you look at the statistics going back over the last 20 years, our situation with illegal immigration has actually gotten dramatically better.
If you were to say that to an Angel family, they would say, yeah, it's a crisis.
Well, I understand that, but tragedy does not mean that you circumvent the Constitution and you set a precedent.
I don't know what a crisis is then.
Well, just here's the thing. A clean deal for DACA would be insanity because you're just encouraging and incentivizing further illegal activity on the southern border. So that is a non-starter and is just it's kind of a dumb idea, just to be honest. Secondly, we had Nancy Pelosi, not you.
I'm offended on her behalf.
Oh, stop. But you have 400,000 people that were apprehended along the southern border last year. I think it is fair to say that there is a crisis here in dealing with activity on the southern border. I worry for the president from a political standpoint because I think that he actually is on solid footing when he talks about law and order. And I think the conversation around immigration over the past few weeks has been illuminating in the sense that you've had Democrats just embrace lawlessness. You have Democrats that brought illegal immigrants to the State of the Union. You have Democrats like Senator Bob Menendez saying that it is not criminal to cross the border undocumented. Of course it is. You have Democrats that wanted to get rid or reduce the numbers of detention beds, forcing ICE to release criminal aliens in this country and not be able to apprehend them. So Democrats have embraced lawlessness in this country, and that's a strong argument for President Trump. But now the focus is going to be on the wall as opposed to him being able to strongly make that argument and make it clear.
Brian, let me ask you, because Andy McCarthy was on a short time ago making the point that, President Obama, when he was looking for the money to put on the pallets to give to the Iranians, he actually pulled $1.7 billion from the Judgment Fund, and that there were quieter ways to go around what was happening with Congress and find your money for this without declaring a national emergency and, begging the courts to stop you, that he could have done what President Obama did to get money when he couldn't get it out of Congress. What do you think of that?
Well, that's a very sophisticated, subtle way of doing things. I don't know if you noticed, this president doesn't really do subtle well.
No.
And he also doesn't want to have someone accusing him, what were you doing, Adam Schiff? What were you doing when you took that money and repurposed it? Why didn't you tell anybody? Instead, he's like, hey, by the way, I'm going to need that money, and here's where I'm taking it, and these are the people that I've dealt with. I would say this. All they had to do was be more reasonable in the negotiation, and there wouldn't be any need for this. But to give them 1.3 and to have all these tags to it, can't do it in Roma, can't put it in Rio Grande City. The census, they couldn't go into Salino, Texas. They got to deal with the individual mayors. You can't put a fence near the National Butterfly Park, the Lomita Historical Park. He's looking at this, goes, it only can go in one direction, one way, and I got to get permission from all these mayors. So this is not a
they got wings.
That's what Democrats
over
wanted,
the wall.
They were antagonizing him into making this move.
Between the slats.
So that could be challenged.
Do you think they were thinking that far ahead?
But doesn't it also matter what that means? And Republicans created this as well, that you have three co-equal branches of government. This president is not a despot. He's not an autocrat. He has to work with Congress. That's why we send these people to Washington to ask them to check on him.
But
so that's what he gets.
Well, what happens as part of the negotiation is saying, okay, is that what you're going to do? This is what I'm going to do. For 35 days, Nancy Pelosi wouldn't even negotiate. That was her choice. No one thought she would negotiate at all.
There are cities in Mexico that have higher homicide rates per capita than in the Middle East.
They don't care about butterflies.
Yeah.
And first of all, Democrats were silent when President Obama moved forward things with DACA, which he had said repeatedly he didn't have the authority to do. So Democrats really don't have a place to speak from here. And what I meant earlier is President Trump is much stronger talking about law and order as opposed to talking about this national emergency declaration, because the waters are muddied there in the sense that not all Republicans are with him on it. Independents might not be, and Democrats surely aren't.
And ironically, when the president was a private citizen, he tweeted how President Obama had overstepped his authority there with the executive order. So now he probably
there's always a tweet.
How for everything?
Yeah, for everything.
And there you go. That was that. Sergeant report. Ooh, PM Nightly News. It's got, all right, you can either hear, no, that's another Q drop. Got Hillary Clinton, career criminal. We want to listen to that. We want to see just how bad she's been. Oh, man. Kev, one time, he got about a 220, man, right on his butt twice in like a week. I'm like, how can you take those jolts? Not like the little 110 that we got in the house. It was a 220, man. It was like, bam. He had somebody, I guess they didn't listen to what he was saying, and he went over, turned on the electric panel, and bam. Oh, good night, Claude. God bless. Ben, that's probably a smart thing. Oh, okay, Emerald. It's I'll be over in about 15 minutes. I'm gonna end the show at like 12. I got him up, so it's, you know, I just got him turned down for now. I always got tabs going. I do that so I'm there. So oh, and here comes the princess. Come on, corporate. Not my chair. Stop. Yeah, you know, Emerald, I noticed there's Don's had a drop in people. I think all that infighting actually hit him too. And it's a shame because Don does a lot. Don keeps that show moving for us, and he does his meme corner, and he does all that stuff. Thanks, Bruce. What do you think you're doing? If you lost your mind, get off that table. But yeah, I mean, hey. There, I mean, he had like maybe 5 people in his room today. So even the in-house fighting, I think, has gotten to there. I haven't really, you know, I hadn't had the time to go in there, and I've just been busy and sick, so I'm trying to show my support. It's all cool, though. Don's good people. So you're just going to sit there, corporate? Get over here. Get over here. $532 round file. So let me see. Boss will sharpen the chainsaw. Oh, dang, Ben, that's sharp. Because it's Von Dev. You know, it's taken, I don't know what's going on with the Von thing, but it takes about 5 minutes to completely load. And Gus, he had issues actually just getting it over where he is. And when I go into Bruce's room, Bruce can't see me. Hey, Bruce, you didn't ban me, did you? Or block me. I can talk in Don's chat, but not yours. I go in, I'm a ghost. I think next time you go live and I go in, I'm going to call you and say, yep, this is what you're wearing. At one time I was texting Dallas. I'm like, tell him I'm here. Tell him I'm here. Bruce, I'm going to try to send him a little bit every month because I know that his internet bill is going to be a lot more. I don't know what he was paying before, but even if it's $25.50 a month, I'll donate. I'm going to get $100 out to him. So we need to get together $100 more for him. And he'll have, and like he had to pay for the internet. Yeah, I don't know why that is, Bruce. I have no clue why. I go into Bears, everyone can see me. It's just your particular channel. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe if I can commit to sending him so much a month, whether it's 25 or 50, then he could go ahead and pay that. Because, I mean, he's on a he's on a shoestring. So we got to take care of Bear. Yeah, just make him like a monthly little thing. And if we all sent like 10, 20, 25 bucks, I think it would work out good for him. So we got to get together one more 100. Now that's if Dallas comes through. So I don't know. He might be a little butthurt. Don took, or no, wait a minute, not Don. Aaron did. So I don't know. You know, we'll see. No, it's like a train wreck. You just can't look away. Oh, goodness. Oh, that's cool, Bruce. I think in Vaughn, though, he'd be pretty safe. I know that they're whacking people. Some people are getting big, and once it's like almost a magic number. Once they get so many subscribers or views, then they're turning into the light there, and they're like, bam. So they demonetize people, and then they start with the suspensions. I mean, Grant said it was the State of the Union address. I think on Christmas you should be able, because technically I don't think that we should get the copyright strike. Technically it's YouTube that's doing the copyright, because I'm not recording it. I go live. There is no thing where I can, make it not live. It's just the way they have the program. So I don't have a choice in the matter. I could go back and delete it, but why don't I have to push a button to freaking put the show up? Okay, Dev, good night. We got about 7 minutes left. And then Don's going to show a movie, so we'll probably go over there. But think about the technicality of it. I wonder if somebody could turn around and sue YouTube for the copyright content. Or the copyright. Because anyone that's going live, they're not really doing a copyright. We're just showing stuff. And then they freaking ban you, and then nobody can come in your room and hang out. So that's weird. That's really weird. You're welcome, Dev. I hope everything was cool tonight. You rest well. I'll catch up with you sometime tomorrow somewhere. I hope Pat gets back up and running. I don't have his number. I can't call him. Has anybody talked to Pat? Bruce, I usually just pop money in an envelope. I put it in a card and I send it to him. I let him know it's coming, so, because I think he's got the P.O. box, or he's got to go down. I don't know how it works. But I figure Monday or Tuesday, I'm going to see what I got in my account, and I want to get the P.O. box. And then I'll go ahead and I'll send his stuff out. But yeah, I mean, we like I said, this next month I gotta take care of my car. Doesn't he pay like $15 a month to stream or something, Bruce? He was saying something about a fee of $15 a month. We'll see what we can do to work that for him. Because I know every little bit with him helps. And I talked to him, and he's a very proud man. If he's all right when we help out, but it's just he won't ask for any other help. He really doesn't ask for help, but yeah, I do the VIP. I gotta matter of fact, I gotta stop. I've been giving money to Ron Gibson. I'm gonna stop that. I don't go to a show anymore. I go to Don's, so I wish, his mods were a lot fairer, and I figure if two people are fighting, you know what I mean, then you whack both of them. You bring them back in 24 hours. And what happened there with people jumping my butt? No. Ain't nobody got banned at all. I never got banned over at Ron's, so it's no big deal to me. I go whenever I want, but it's just a matter of, I said, if this happened, I ain't coming back, and I didn't. So, apparently, gosh, this thing gets some pressure to it. It's still steaming. This is like the greatest little... Get my thermos of coffee per show. I walk through the kitchen. I said, babe, I'm going to do my show with my little thermos. Yeah, well, Bruce, I don't know if you've seen everything last night, but that was deliberate. She'd come into errands with one target in mind. So, but that's the way they roll. That's just the way it is, and that's fine. I mean, I said what I had to say. That's it. She's all up in errands now. She's just waiting. She wants to have another go with me. Ain't happening. I'm not going to sit there and swap insults. It's not worth it. I think Bruce, I think he cares more about the Patreon because people donate there. And I got to go into Patreon and figure out. I remember that, Bruce. I remember that. And she thought it was about her. So, well, that C word will probably get you banned a lot. And it's a shame. Yeah, and it wasn't even, it had nothing to do with that channel or anything. She just thought it was about her. I remember I was there on that. I guess would Gus fall asleep? He's around somewhere, I'm sure. Alrighty, guys. It's time to say good night. I'm going to go over to Bears for movie night. Get out of here. Beat it. Hold on a second. Get. Shoot. Out. Out. Get your butt out of here. Come on, outside. Come on. Now put your butt. And go down the steps. Sorry about that, the dog again. Yeah. Here's, that's where we're going to migrate to next. I don't know if Aaron fell asleep or not yet. So good night, everyone. God bless.